All right, welcome to the week before Wobble Week, everybody. I've welcomed everyone onto the call. Hello to everybody that's catching up. We were just celebrating Tommy's incredible achievements this week, who has been smashing talks out of the park just casually, who's been moving into mentorship and things like that, so casually landing into all sorts of awesome stuff. But a couple of things that he's come across is very, very relevant to all of the speakers, and one of them is questions. So fielding things like inappropriate questions, fielding things like, and Amy's touched upon this too, in the chat just there, I've just noticed, people starting to see you become more visible, and they may be from your past, maybe taking umbrage with some of the things that you're saying. And it is something that we've got to consider, especially if you are sharing something that is from your past. So with regards to questions, one of the top tips I got for you all is think about the worst possible question that you could be asked and how will you deal with it. So in the case of inappropriate questions, I think Tommy had the great tip here was, if you wouldn't answer the question yourself, don't ask it. If you would think it was inappropriate if somebody asked you that question, don't ask the question. And have a think, all of you, that if someone was to ask you a question, or a really difficult or weird or strange question, be prepared for that, because then anything else is easy to tackle or manage. So consider the questions you may ask. When it comes to doing a talk in the outside world, in the world outside of Be Inspired, you may get given time for questions and answers. It might be that they will open up the floor to questions and you might fall under tumbleweed. It is handy to have some questions sort of preempted. I know there's like people you could say, for example, I know that there's people in the room that might be thinking questions, might not want to put their hand up to answer. A lot of people ask me X, Y, and Z. So you can still fill up that time without it being awkward. So preempt questions, preempt difficult questions, and do that before the talk. And also consider having some questions and answers in your back pocket, just in case if you ever need to pad out time. So that's the first thing. Secondly is being asked to pick your brains. Now, when you become more visible as a speaker in whatever field you're in, be it finances, be it leadership, be it nutrition, be it in advocacy and allyship, people will ask you, can I just pick your brains? And often, can I just pick your brains means, can you give me some free information that's going to have you taking from your resources that you've spent long and hard either experiencing or learning? I would strongly advise you to not only have speaker fees, but consultation fees just in the bag, ready to respond directly. Yes, no problem. You could pick my brains. It's for 30 minutes consultation. You can have X, Y, and Z. All right. So just have a think about that. You don't always have to play that, because some people ask me, and then, if they pull up my heartstrings in the right way, I might go, yeah, do you know what? I'll give you a little bit of your time. But having that leaves you in that position of power. It leaves, and I don't mean power as in, haha, I've got all the power. It means that actually you're owning your expertise, and you should value it. It's really important that you do. So having consultation fees is really, really handy, especially after you've been on stage and people will go, oh, will you just? Can you just? Can you just is normally followed with, I don't have any budget. So allow yourself to hold your boundaries around that. So Amy shared with me this week, and she shared in the chat that she's had a message from a family member who's annoyed about her sharing her story. This may come up for some of you. I know, Sam, I saw you nodding along there. Here's the thing. Your story is yours to tell. And if people wanted a better storytelling about them implicating you, they should have behaved better in the first instance. And I think I just saw Claire say something very similar to this. If you wanted to write nicer things about them, they should have treated you better. This is your story, and her issues are her baggage. It might not help in the immediate. So these are all the right things to say, is everything that I would say. It might not help in the immediate, but you've got to think, who are you helping by sharing this? And how close are you to that person who's got an issue? And if you need somebody to process that with, please do give me a shout. So that's not me being flippant and say, oh, well, carry on anyway. If it's going to do any harm, then you've got to be careful for sure. I don't want anybody putting themselves in harm's way. But how many rooms is, in Amy's case, Amy's mum going to be in with her talking about this? Not very many. And it's Amy's story that Amy gets to own. And that's the power that Amy's taking back, just as it's the power that you're all taking over your own story. I spoke at, Amy did some speaking, spoke at an event on Saturday in Preston tonight. There was a little mini PR piece and I've refrained from sharing it because of that. And don't refrain from sharing it. It was lovely. Was it the blog Preston thing? Please share that, because it's amazing that you should be sharing those things. Don't be frightened and don't bite. If there's a fractious relationship already, that if you've not spoken to somebody for a long, long time and all of a sudden they're sad because you're doing your thing, you don't have to respond. But please do, like, lean on the group, lean on us, lean on me. If you are feeling any of this too now, especially now as you're about to head on into the stage. Sam saying, I'm scared of this too, Amy, but I remember the words of Danny in a live once. She said, if they didn't want to be talked about, they should have thought how they acted. Yeah, that's how I got myself through right at the very beginning. When I first started sharing my story, it's very easy to find out who's implicated. It's my daughter. They only need to Google my daughter's name and then, or, we're on public records, they can find out who the parent is and dig around accordingly. Now, how many people are going to be doing that at this stage in the proceedings? Probably not that many. People have delusions of grandeur, thinking that if they show up in Chat magazine one time, then that's it. That's their good name sullied. I question the good name in the first instance, but you've got to own your story and make sure that you're standing strong in that. But we've got you through all of this. Okay, so that's that. How are we feeling in this moment? What are the wobbles that we're having so far? Does anybody want to share?
Well, I can't remember shit. I can't remember talk. I can't remember what day it is. Can't remember how many kids I got. Can't remember anything. I'm having a lovely day over here on a Wobble Wednesday. So right now, and I think I've had this conversation with at least 6 of you in the last 24 hours, the most common fear at this point is that my talk isn't ready. It's not ready. It's nowhere near ready. Have we all brought Wobble Week forward? No, it's just, there's 20 of you and you'll all feel it like a domino effect. So some of you will have had it a couple of weeks ago. Some of you, now is the time when you're like popping like popcorn. Oh, Danny, I can't do it. Oh, I'm gonna jump out, or I'll do it next time. And it's perfectly normal. And I did say to you all that you would all feel this at some point. So when it arrives, go, welcome it in. I've been expecting you, and let's explore it. So when it comes to remembering, here's the bit I can't help with. What do you mean you can't help, Danny? I can't make you rehearse. I can't make you do it. I can help you with everything else. I can help you with content. I can map out your slide deck with you. I can write your talk. I don't want to, but I can write your talk description for you as part of your speaker reveal. Anna's like, don't you give that away, that's enough. But what I can't do is I cannot say these words out of my face for you in practice. And it is the only way you're going to create muscle memory around it. So the rehearsal space isn't a space for me to be watching you. It's the space for you to be accountable so that I can see that you're rehearsing. You'll get feedback, proper feedback on your talk, because that's when I see you in a real environment. Doing it in the live, me and Prash were talking about this today. Like, having your phone up and doing your talk to the camera is not the same as doing it in a room full of people watching you, right? It doesn't feel the same. It's like being in a weird sort of competency-based assessment where they go, let's do a role play now. Okay, so I want you to role play me your talk. And you're like, oh no, it feels shit. It doesn't feel real. It's not right. I get it. So my tip is just put the phone at the side or your laptop at the side. Don't even present it to the camera. Don't bother presenting it to the camera. Stand up and just get inside it. Wobbly big time. It's ready. It's not ready. I've not got the things I need ready. Wobble, wobble, wobble. Perfection, Zoe. It is. And it's like, you don't want me to hear that that's perfection, because perfection will be perfection. But actually you feeling like that is how lots, just give us a little nod if you felt a bit like that, particularly this week as we're heading on into next week.
You are not on your own. But what you need to do is, I've worked with all of you now extensively in numerous one-to-ones. You have a talk. I'm not worried about any of you. You're like, that's all right for you, Danny. But the only thing I can't do is rehearse. So that is your job this week. I want to see you in that rehearsal space. Okay, let's get into the meat of this evening because we have a guest here tonight. We have one of my dear, dear friends and our resident photographer. Vicky Head is one of my favorite humans in the world. B, one of the most talented speaker photographers, as well as photography for all of the reasons and needs. But she's an incredibly talented speaker photographer. And the reason why we have Vicky on board isn't because just she's my favorite person, but she is a TEDx trusted speaker photographer. We've got the very, very best kind of photographer here for you to create your speaker assets. And what Vicky's going to do, I don't know if you can hear, my dog is rolling around on my bed like an idiot over there. Like, I don't know if you can hear that. That's not Wallace making those noises, by the way. Just wanted to make that really clear in case my microphone picked that up. Having a speaker-specific photographer, somebody who knows what they're doing when it comes to photographing speakers, means that we get you the very, very best assets. So just like the Film Farmers last week, we've got Vicky in this evening to talk you through how to be photographed as a speaker. Vicky, good evening.
Hello, hello, hello.
When you enter the fray, we know shit's getting real. Yeah. Like the team are like, oh, it's Vicky week.
Just at that
moment. We're giving birth to the event.
I've just seen that. Eyebrows up, Michelle. Eyebrows up. Okay, I remember that. Hello. So just about this time, one of the reasons that I come and talk to you is because it's at that point where you've got your talks you're getting there, you've got it nearly ready, you're rehearsing, as Danny said. And absolutely, what Danny said there, a lot of this is about muscle memory. So it's really important. One of my backgrounds is a lot of theatre. I've done 35 years of theatre. And whenever you're practicing things that you're going to say and speak and say to people, practicing it aloud makes all the difference. Because it's not just about learning maybe what you want to say and kind of getting that sunk. It's about also working out where you're going to pause, where you're going to be quiet for a moment, where you're going to let the impact of what you're saying settle in, where if something's funny, people have got that moment to sort of process it and react, or they've got the chance to take on something that's of value, of importance, that's going to resonate with them. So when you practice aloud, you work out where the tongue twisters are, where the bits that you wrote and it looks great on paper, but it might trip you up if you're trying to say it. And whenever people, often when people are speaking in front of an audience, there can be a bit of nerves, you can feel a little bit anxious. And one of the things that happens when you feel like that is you start to speak faster. So you get faster and it's going, and you're hardly giving yourself time to breathe. You're not giving yourself time to pause, and it can get like, you can feel like a runaway train. Practicing it so that your mouth is used to what sort of shapes it's going to make, what sounds you're going to create. It helps you, because if you have those, it will help you come across as very calm and poised when you're there on that stage and you're speaking to people. You will feel a bit of an arse when you're practicing it aloud in your house. You will, for sure. You will feel a bit of an idiot, but just forget about that. Keep doing it, because it will definitely help you on the day. And it gives you that moment where when you suddenly think, oh, what was I going to say again? Your mouth will be so used to what you're going to say, it will kind of carry on for you. You'll be all good. So I mentioned pauses, and pauses are really important for me. And in terms of helping you with the assets that I want to make for you. So when most of us don't really like having our photograph taken that much. We can often feel quite self-conscious. We think about the bits of us that we don't like, about how we look. So people suddenly get paranoid about, well, I don't like my nose, or I've got a double chin, or I've got a muffin top, or all the things that we think, oh my goodness, and feel a bit anxious about. So most people feel a bit vulnerable, and I'm going to be there on the day. I'm not really going to be up in your face. I'm not going to be that close to you. I will be moving around. I tend to go to a number of different places around the room so that I can create images of you that come from some are closer, some are further away, some include the audience that you've got there who are listening to you, and more of the venue. Some are about are closer in, and it's mainly just going to be you in the frame. And I want to create the best assets for you. I'm not looking to create pictures of people with double chins, and that's not my brief at all.
She's like, what's your worst possible angle? Let's get that.
That's not what I'm looking to do at all. If you have things that you feel particularly insecure about how you look, absolutely let me know, because if I know, then you can trust in me that I'm going to be aware of how you feel. You don't need to worry on the day about trying to always turn your side to me so I get your best profile. If you tell me the things that you feel insecure about, that's fine, and I can be aware of that. And trust me, I've met all sorts of people, all ages, all shapes, all sizes, all everything, and there's always things that somebody isn't so keen on. Having pauses when you speak means that there's a moment when you're not moving your mouth, that you've got a few seconds where you're not moving your mouth. If you don't pause, if you don't give any kind of sort of almost little spaces within what you're saying, first of all, you're not helping the audience understand and process it and react to it and respond and kind of think yes, but you're also always going to be moving your mouth. So your mouth, all the pictures I take are going to be like this, because you're constantly going to be speaking. It can feel, and this is why practicing the pauses when you're practicing it aloud are really useful, so you get comfortable with that space without feeling you need to fill every second with some noise of speaking. When you pause, don't be afraid to actually pause. Think about the fact that you're going to be, that pause can be, you can be having eye contact, you can be looking out to the people, you can be connecting with them and engaging with them. And I'm a woman of a certain age, so I have a serious case of resting bitch face going on. If I don't actively try and make my face look pleasant, I look as miserable as hell. Okay.
We had our Joanna was talking about this last week.
I have to actually be mindful, because if I'm just concentrating or, being quite serious, I can look really not that happy. You might be concentrating quite hard while you're doing your speak, because you'll be kind of thinking about the things you want to say, how you want to say it, where you're going to be. There's going to be a lot going on. And concentrating faces can look a bit serious and a bit frowny sometimes. So doing that practice really helps. And when you practice and you're practicing your pauses, practice your pleasant face. It doesn't have to be a big grin. It doesn't have to be big posy things going to camera. You don't need to worry about that. But it's just about actually thinking, I want people to be able to engage with me, and I want the photographs to be able to show that you can engage with me as well. These assets will work for you in a stronger way if people feel that they can engage with you, they can approach with you. That's not to say if you're talking about a serious subject, you can't look serious at those times. But be mindful that if you're serious all the time and you're concentrating all the time, you will possibly be frowning in all your pictures. So that's something to just think about when you're practicing. Try and keep eye contact. So there's usually somebody, out of pretty much every time I've it's photograph speaking events, there's always somebody that quite often will speak with their eyes shut for most of the time. There's usually somebody that does it. It's just the thing that happens, and it's kind of a thinking, concentrating thing, and they'll sort of talk and they'll be doing this, but they'll have their eyes closed a lot. Things like that may limit the pictures I get of you where you don't look like you're blinking or asleep. So, and it's just, there just always is. But don't be afraid of the audience. Don't be afraid to have eye contact with them. You know, to be looking out, you don't have to look up to the lights. You don't have to shut your eyes. Don't be fearful. Be bold. You know, be bold and prepared to look out. It's also really important, if there's anything that you're going to do that has impact, let me know it's going to happen. So there's been a few times through different Be Inspired where there's real moments where something, you know, part of that is a reveal of some description or other. There's been some pretty impressive ones at times. But if you're going to do something, let me know what it is and roughly whenabouts it's going to happen, so I can make sure that I'm going to be in the best place to capture it. I don't want to find that you do some big reveal and I'm just in between places, you know, stood behind somebody at that time. So the more I know, email, Facebook, message.
Drop Vicky a friend request.
Drop me a friend request. If I'm not friends with you already, drop me a friend request. Send me a DM. You know, talk to me about it. You can talk to me on the day, but you're going to have a lot going on the day. So drop me a message now. And then, you know, by all means, nudge me, you know, on the day and say, here's this thing that I'm going to show, what I'm going to do. Because if I know whereabouts you're planning to be on the stage, we can talk in the morning before you go on. If I know roughly where you're going to be, I can work out the best place to try and capture that. Pleasant bitch face. Yeah, no.
So for example, like we've got Claire Sweet and her shoes, like we need to get a picture of Claire on stage with it. We've got other things going on, Michelle, for example, when you've got people stood up, the ribbons on the chairs, for example, just ways that whatever elevations that you've got, don't worry if you don't have any, by the way, it's okay. Some of you are doing a straight talk. Sam, when you're getting everyone on their feet, for example, when they're roaring, like make sure that Vicky knows about these particular points in your talk. Sarah, I can't remember, are you showing a plate of some description? You're not showing, it's going to be behind you though, is that right? So if there is a particular slide, for example, that really that we could get a shot of, that you can create content about at a later date, that's also something to consider. You in front of the lion. So there's a slide for Samantha, for example, Vicky, where there's a big picture of a lion, and our little Sam's going to be stood in front of the lion, and that's going to be a really powerful shot. So what I've tried to do is, when we talked about elevations with our speakers, Vix, that they're considering moments. So consider these moments and make sure Vicky knows about them, just because you know where they're going to fall, and you might decide something without me in the room that, you know, that I don't know about. So it's better for you to communicate the shots that you want to get as part of your talk with Vicky.
So it's you know, live events, there's always variables. The more I know, the better it is, because I've got more chance of being able to get things that are gonna, you know, particularly capture things that are, you know, key. Avoid. Okay. The more I know, definitely it can help me with that. And like I say, if there's things that you feel particularly insecure about, let me know that as well, because it's really common. A lot of people do feel quite insecure, and I don't want you to be thinking about either where am I, or what's, you know, what if there's something that you are insecure about. So I've had people before, and they've sort of said maybe, I don't like how my nose looks in profile, or I've got a funny tooth that sticks out a bit and I'm a bit worried about that, these things, they're important to us. They're the sorts of things that nobody else notices, but they matter to us. But if you let me know what it is, I'm able to be mindful of that. So I don't want you to feel that you need to position yourself for me. If I'm aware of what you're concerned about, I can make sure I position myself that's going to work. And then on the day, just don't worry about where I am. I'll be moving about. I'll be in different places. But I'm on your side. I've got your back with this, you know. I'm looking to give you good assets that are going to be useful for you. Has anybody got any questions about the photographs generally?
I forgot I put myself on mute then. I was about to go, hello. Has anybody got any questions? So key things to remember. making sure that Vix knows of any elevations that you want to grab pictures of as part of your talk. So any key points. Allowing for pauses, I think, is going to be the most important thing to make sure that we can get your assets. So if you're stopping, give yourself a couple of points within it. During your segues is really good. Kind of slide transitions is really good. When you've just made a point, stop. And then it gives you a really great chance then to adjust any RBFs going on in expectation. If Vicky thinks that we might not have got a shot, then we will stage a shot in the break. All right. So don't worry, we will definitely get. One of the questions that we often get asked is, how many pictures do we get? So it will depend. I'll let Vicky answer, but we don't have a right. Okay, so everybody gets 5 photographs that they're going to love. I'll let Vicky answer the question, but we get asked that quite a lot.
Do you want me to show you roughly what a gallery looks like?
That would be brilliant. That would be brilliant.
Okay, let me screen share. Hang on. So, this is as the gallery opens.
Oh, that's going to be you, like, too.
Last time. And as the gallery opens, so there's, you can see here, maybe there's a little day 1 and day 2 kind of tabs. So you have kind of different tabs potentially to go into. And as you go through the gallery, this is kind of what it's going to look like. There's going to be some audience, there's going to be Danny, there's going to be speakers, and you can see there's some close-up, there's some from further away. It varies. The number you get varies. Some people, it's easier just to get more shots, just generally because of things like, you know, say if you're somebody that has their eyes shut while they're speaking. You know, other people, just the logistics of things, it doesn't work in the same way. If there's things that I know are going to happen, then it's easier to be in a place where you can get those, you know, get the shots and get them from the right place, because often things like that with reveals, there's not long to get them. But this is kind of how the galleries look as you go through.
Oh, look at him, the handsome devil.
I know, handsome brute, isn't he?
She did take rather a lot of shots of Dan.
He's very interested in this.
Doing little power poses. He's got lots of good little poses going on and expressions. Don't be afraid to use the stage and come forward. Don't feel that you've got to hide away in the corners or hide away in the back. Coming forward and being bold can create some really good separation between you and the slides at the back.
And we're in asset creation mode here, right? Because remember that for all this is going to be an incredible talk, an incredible experience and all of these, the point of this event, the reason why we stage the event, yes, of course, we want people in the room. Yes, of course, we want you speaking and saying incredible things on stage, but we want to create you the assets that are going to help you get booked afterwards. So having that lovely full room, having, you know, in the lineup, having things to talk about afterwards, having, you know, different photos in different contexts, allow for you to content create as well as have those assets to get booked. Wow, Danny, you're unrecognizable. I know, I don't even know what these ones are going to look like this time.
I know, I'm so excited for this. I'm so excited for this.
Although my costumes, they have definitely started to arrive. I think you lot are going to be impressed with the costumes that I've got this time. But yeah, Vicky will have about 10,000 photos on the day. She gets blisters on her fingers and thumbs. She takes that many photos, and then the love and the care and the attention that goes into the edits to make sure that you guys look as amazing as you do. It's not just a point and press situation. We've got a real careful photographer here who, like she says, the reason why we have her on the team, the reason why we have anybody on this team is because they've got your back, is because they're loving and kind and caring, and they want to create the very best assets for you so that you can take your incredible message out into the world and go and get booked. Do we get a pack of photos of ourselves? Yeah, you get access to all of the photos and you can download any of them at any point. So you will be given a password and you'll be given, it's not like, okay, so Fiona, we're only going to give you your just yours, and that's it. You're not going to get access. It's like it's your wedding, right? That you're going to get pictures of the whole event, and we make sure that you've got.
Yeah. So a gallery like that, you'll get the password for it. You'll get the download, the PIN number for it, so you can go in, you can download your images from it and use those. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then also seize opportunities, because we've got the press wall as well. So, and I think this is something that we didn't really mention last time, but say, for example, we've got our phenomenal speakers, both of them on two. Did I tell you who we had? So we've got Capital Extra DJ Ramel London, who is just phenomenal, Sky TV presenter. And we've also got Trina Nicole, who's a dancer and body confidence expert, Nike ambassador, they're just wonderful, wonderful humans. But seize opportunities to get to that press wall as well in the breaks and what have you, because they're great, for group shots. If you've connected with somebody on the mastermind, for example, if you want to big each other up, if you want pictures with the VIPs, pictures with me, for example, pictures with the team, think about how you can utilize the day to create your content. So you will have seen last time that the whole speaker squad had content for weeks and weeks after being inspired. You might as well, because it's all there for you. And that is a perfect example of how to capitalize and leverage One Talk. So when you do these things in future, you make sure that you speak to the event organizer. Is there going to be a photographer there? Can I please get a hold of the photography, please? Is there going to be a videographer there? Can I please get a hold of the videography, please? Always thinking when we do these things, what are the assets that I can create? If there isn't going to be either of those things there, consider taking one. Consider creating future assets. All right. Are there going to be VIPs there? Go and get a chuffing selfie with them. No cheek, no chance. Closed mouths don't get fed.
Or shout me. I took a lot of pictures at the press wall, in the breaks, in between, the different speakers last time. So, if you were there, if I'm not there doing it, call me. Say, can you come and take a picture on the press wall?
Also make sure that if she's not had anything to eat at lunchtime, make sure she's got something to eat, or make sure she's got a glass of wine at some point as well. If I don't manage to, which I'm sure we will. So any more questions? It's not a long one tonight, because this is your session. Just making sure that you're prepared and that you're aware for this particular part of our asset creation. How are we all feeling now that Vicky's spoken to us?
Have you all thought about your clothes and things? Are you all sorted with what you're doing with that? Yeah. Good.
Danielle was having a little try on before. I was planning before I got my clothing rail out. Forgot that last time that the clothing rail fell on its arse all the way through the day. I've got to get a stronger clothing. I'm glad I did that today. But yeah, all my costumes are now all laid out in my procrastination today. So if you're going to procrastinate, make sure you do it on Boohoo or ASOS or wherever it is that you do your shopping. Amy, no idea what outfit yet. Tommy, I have no idea. Have you asked Lindsay? I would go for either something really super comfy, even hoodies and a jeans would work.
Well, I wanted stripes because I wear stripes all the time. And as soon as I can't remember what her name was, when she said it, I thought, okay, what do I do now?
More super pin stripes. So it's the stripes that dazzle.
Yeah.
So it's the really, really fine stripes. If in doubt, Tommy, give us a shout and we can sort of guide you in the right direction. So
well, Lindsay said to go smart, which I'm happy to do, but because we're getting the train up, I'm not going to have an iron.
Are you staying?
Yeah, we're coming up on the Wednesday.
Yeah, there'll be an iron in the hotel, babe.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
If you ask them if they've not got one in the room,
if not, then I'll rob one out of our hotel and I'll bring it over to you. I'm from Preston. I know how to do these things.
Comfort is good. Comfort is good because if you're uncomfortable, if your shoes are new and they pinch and they're too high, it'll show on your face. So being pretty comfortable in the things that you're wearing definitely will help you feel more relaxed as well.
Prash was saying, I was hoping to see some I'm wearing this photos in the group. In fact, you lot have not done that this time. You're my very first group to not be sharing the what you're wearing conversation. I've been anticipating that. So I'm interested to see, not because I want to pick out what you're wearing. I'm just interested. I really want to show you some of my costumes, but I can't. I've got to leave it for a surprise on the day because it might leak. It might leak out to the world and we can't. I will share when I get there. I've got 10 pairs of jeans arriving tomorrow.
Often kind of plain colours works really well. Patterns can be good, but if they're too busy, they can,
or ditzy or small, they're quite distracting.
Don't blend into your background, so don't be so colour coordinated that we can't see you. That's something that's often to think, oh, I'll wear that. I'll wear blue because my background's blue. And then what we want to do is see you against it.
Then we're in a dipty situation where we're royal purple on royal purple and she's a floating head on this beautiful talk. It wasn't the case. It didn't look like that, but it was very kind of like...
Very much the same colour.
It was very much the same colour.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Strong female lead. Yes, absolutely, Fiona. Great idea. Slogan t-shirt. So the theme for the last lot was sent to be Converse. Everybody, all of our... Fiona, do you remember? All of our speaker squad just sent to be all wearing Converse. I don't know what it is. I've got a feeling that for me, blazers are a real theme for this show for me. I've got a blazer for all occasions for this particular show. So yeah, I feel like we're heading in the blazer direction for this show. Not that I want anybody to lean. I wondered why they all had Converse. We didn't choose. That was not a choice. It was not like there wasn't like, let's all wear Converse trainers so we've all got the same feet. It was just, we was talking about comfort, and that was the kind of style that people found they liked best. I have no style whatsoever. Thankfully, I'm in the background. I assume they were all told to wear something comfy. It's important that you are you. That's the important thing, that you feel good. The feeling is more important than the looking. I mean, I've been on stage in my pajamas and a poo suit and everything in between. So, there is no holds barred where this is concerned, but your comfort and your safety are my priority. That's why I bought slightly lower shoes, not used to super high these days. The stage in itself, so for people that wear heels, the stage itself is relatively high in comparison to the audience. You're very elevated. So any more heels on top of that is going to put you up even further. Now, it doesn't matter whether you're short or tall. It's still think about your comfort. Wedges are a great idea for stability, for heel wearers. Okay. Oh, I loved Claire Morton's outfit. I still think about it now, how it matched her entire talk. She wore a white shirt, didn't she? And some flowy pants, maybe palazzo pants, something like that. I was hoping to wear heels. I'll have to think about something else. Get the Cubans on the go, Tommy. Fall off flip-flops trainers is the way forward. Yeah, I fall off flip-flops. It has been known. And
you're going up and down the stairs as well to get onto the stage.
Yeah.
So you've got that thing where, and then they're a little bit steepish.
They are steep.
They're not shallow stairs.
So we'll be giving Fiona a leg up. We've got the lift on both days, Fiona, just in case. Not because I wasn't trusting your abilities, but I just thought just in case. She's going to fly up anyway. We've got the flyers in. We're going to fly her on.
I might just need someone to give me a little hand up. That's all.
Oh, should we get like a butler in the buff type situation? Like...
Yeah, or shove me up by my arse or something like that. I won't be on crutches.
We'll get Wallace in a Tarzan outfit maybe to assist you up there. He'll love that. Okay, I shall be on my arse and shimmy. However we get there, we do for anybody that's worried. We do have a lift for both days for accessibility's sake. If you do have any questions specifically around photography, please do connect with Vicky, because she's a thoroughly good bloody human being to hang out with anyway. So having her in your life is only going to make it richer. As is Vicky. Having any of these guys in your life is only going to make it richer. I attract incredible people, and this cohort is absolutely stonking. We're going to have an amazing time in just 2 weeks. Okay.
Definitely hook up with me, because then I can tag you when I post photos as well.
Yes. So, very, very quickly, the other question we get asked, and normally we get asked sort of at the event, is when will our photos be ready? There's a lot of photos to be ready, a lot.
Yeah. So what I tend to do is put out a handful within a day or so of it. So kind of probably around about by the Sunday, something like that, there will be at least one of you that goes out, as we say, look at what happened here. The rest of them will be a few weeks later. There is a lot to go through. Anna's not actually joking when she said it's in
10,000.
It's like there regularly is a lot throughout the days. Probably you're looking at, typically there's about 800 images a day that are edited, that are provided for it. So that takes quite a bit of time to go through. If you have something that was coming up that really specifically you've got the opportunity for something and you want something from it, then speak to me, because then I might be able to actually hustle you an odd one or two for that. But yeah, there'll be some initial ones that come out within a couple of days, and then after that it'll be a few weeks later.
Yeah, so we get an opportunity in the direct aftermath to just go, fucking hell, what was that? And then you've got your kind of photo reveals. There's another happening that you can coordinate into your content plans. So it's nice a few weeks later to go, I just got my pictures back. Wow, look, it was an amazing experience. So again, more content for you to be sharing, more opportunities for you to be sharing with the world that you are. You know, you're a trained speaker now, la, la, la. And again, you can do that again when you get your video back. So when the video comes back, I've got my video back now, so you can see how you can really milk and leverage this situation for yourselves for a good couple of months afterwards. So please do, not for my sake, for yours. That's why we want to create you these incredible assets. Everybody's wobbling. Hold tight, my darlings.
You're going to have an amazing day. You are going to have an amazing day. You are going to just feel so much warmth and love, and you're going to just have a blast. You'll all be chitter-chattering still in your WhatsApp group for a long, long time to come, because it's going to be an amazing experience for you.
It really is. And for everybody that is having a little bit of a wobble right now, it's not helpful for me to say it, but I need you to understand it's normal. It's absolutely normal. And to get through the wobbles, you've got to do this last little bit of work, which is making sure you are running through it and running through it and running through it. And then what I want you to do is step the fuck away from it for a couple of days to give yourself a little bit of a breather, so that you're not so close to it by the time you get on stage that you don't like it. All right. I want it so that you're divorced from any scripts, so that you're not thinking about every single word that you've got to say, that you know the themes of each of your slides, and you're just telling us the story. Yeah, that's what I want from you guys. And the more that you can do that prior, the better. So maybe we should have a mass Zoom jiggle party, like a big wobbly jiggly situation. I am here for any of you. You know, what happens is that we get all of my one-to-ones with you kind of stacked out to the end of this week, and then for the next couple of weeks there is some wiggle room for any of you to come in, even if it's just like a 10-15 minute, I need to check in with Dan, I just need to outwardly process something for me to hold space for you, then please get in touch with Anna. I am here. I am not going anywhere. This is my priority. You are my priority. All right, you guys? All right. We can stop the recording. I love you all. You are amazing. I am so proud of every single one of you. You are going good guns. Anybody needs me, get in my DMs. I have got your back.